most people, the central questions of existence ultimately come down to transcendental ones. Why is there a universe at all? Why are we here? Whatever presumptions one might bring to the question why, if we understand the how better, why will come into sharper focus. I wrote my last book to address what science has to say about the first of these questions. The story I've related here provides what I think is the best answer to the second. Faced with the mystery of our existence, we have two choices. We can assume we have a special significance and that somehow the universe was made for us. For many, this is the most comfortable choice. It was the choice made by early human tribes, who anthropomorphized nature because it provided them some hope of understanding what otherwise seemed to be a hostile world, often centered on suffering and death. It is a choice made by almost all the world's religions, each of which has its own claimed solution to the quandary of existence. The second choice when addressing these transcendental mysteries is to make no assumption in advance about the answer, which leads to another story, one that I think is more humble. In this story, we evolve in a universe whose laws exist independently of our own being. In this story, we check the details to see if they might be wrong. In this story, we're going to be surprised at every turn. The story I've written here describes a human drama as much as a universal one. It describes the boldest intellectual quest humans have ever undertaken. It even has spiritual allegories, for those who prefer them. We wandered in the desert for 40 years after the development of the Standard Model, before we discovered the Promised Land. The truth, or at least as much of the truth as we now know, was revealed to us in what for most people seems to be incomprehensible scribbles, the mathematics of gauge theories. These have not been delivered to us on golden tablets by an angel, but rather by much more practical means, on pieces of paper in laboratory notebooks filled through the hard work of a legion of individuals who knew that their claims would be tested by whether they correctly modeled the real world, the world of observation and experiment. But as significant as the manner by which we got here is that we've gotten this far. At this point in the story, what can we conclude about why we are here? The answer seems all the more remarkable because it reveals explicitly just how deeply the universe of our experience is a shadow of reality. I began this book with a quote from the naturalist J.A. Baker from the Peregrine. "The hardest thing to see is what is really there." I did so because the story I have told is the most profound example of this wise observation that I know of. If we now ask why things are the way they are, the best answer we can suggest is that it is the result of an accident in the history of the universe in which a field froze in empty space in a certain way. When we ponder what significance that might have, we might equally ponder what is the significance of that specific ice crystal seen in the early morning frost on a window pane. The rules that allowed us to come into being seem no more worth fighting and dying for than it would seem to be to fight and die to resolve whether up in the ice crystal universe is better than down, or whether it is better to crack an egg from the top or the bottom. Our primitive ancestors survived in large part because they recognized that nature could be hostile and violent, even as it was remarkable. The progress of science has made it clear just how violent and hostile the universe can be for life, but recognizing this does not make the universe less amazing. Such a universe has ample room for awe, wonder, and excitement. If anything, recognition of these facts gives us greater reason to celebrate our origins and our survival. To argue that in a universe in which there seems to be no purpose, our existence is itself without meaning or value is unparalleled solipsism, as it suggests that without us the universe is worthless. The greatest gift that science can give us is to allow us to overcome our need to be the center of existence, even as we learn to appreciate the wonder of the accident we are privileged to witness. It is appropriate to recognize that the line in the Aeneid that follows the epigraph with which this book began was the hopeful cry, "Release your fear." A future that might bring about our end does not negate the majesty of the journey we are still taking. The story I have told is not the whole story. There's likely to be far more that we don't understand than we now do. In the search for meaning, our understanding of reality will surely change as the story continues to unfold. I'm often told that science can never do some things. Well, how do we know until we try? This story ultimately does not give the past special significance. We can reflect upon and even celebrate the road we have taken. But the greatest liberation and the greatest solace that science provides come from perhaps its greatest lesson, that the best parts of the story can yet be written. Surely this possibility makes the cosmic drama of our existence worthwhile.